Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another ACGL breakdown. My name is Scar. I'm going to be your host for today, and I am joined by two amazing individuals who have brought together an amazing community and have done some amazing things in a community we've just discovered, the Free Fire community. Please allow yourselves to, introduce yourselves, let us know who you guys are, and who are you guys?
Okay, I'll start first. I go by the name of TwoFaced. Most of them just call me Sam, S-A-M. I'm a Free Fire host for the SSA community.
Fantastic stuff. And
Hey
then,
everybody! Sorry.
all good.
Hi everybody. So I do go by the name Snow on the game called Free Fire. I'm an influencer for Free Fire and also a tournament host, YouTuber and editor for TikTok.
Amazing stuff. Now, moving on from that, right? And I just heard the word influencer, and I really love that because what you guys have done and what you've brought with Free Fire has really been short of something amazing, right? You guys really have done a lot for the Free Fire community, but before we get to that, you two have brought together this massive group, right, of eager and motivated players that are ready to compete and make a name for themselves. But what gave you guys the motivation to decide, this is what we want to do? We want to create a competitive scene for Free Fire and start hosting tournaments to give these players sort of an opportunity to compete and, allow for them to make a name for themselves, but also have fun. Where did that motivation come from?
I think for tournament guys to get these players together, what motivated me in the beginning would be, firstly, when I started off streaming, I used to stream to about like 2 people watching at first. Then it grew and grew over time, and then within about, I would say, 6 months, my channel went from 300 subscribers up to about 3,000. And that's when I saw the community started to grow. But where it really kicked off was when Free Fire created a server for us in Africa, in the sub-Saharan area. So that is when, now we all closer, we know each other now because we have our own set of players within our server. Why not create a competitive scene? And when we became influencers, that gave us the opportunity to create these tournament rooms where we would get this from Garena for free. And the only thing, because we don't play in the major World Series, like our server's not there yet. So the thing we thought about, let's have our own esports. Let's get the competitiveness coming through from our server. If we don't do it, who else is going to do it?
Precisely.
Us as influencers. So that's where it all started, and from there it just kept growing and kept growing. And if you host a tournament tomorrow, this is how big is the community. If you host one, there will be over 200 teams that register that first day already. So and it keeps growing. So, but that's the biggest motivation. It was the players itself, because there's so many of them.
Snow, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, what motivated me is I used to play tournaments in the Europe server. That was before we had the server called SSA server. So that's basically the countries that's all around Africa. So we had no tournaments in our server. That's when TwoFaced and I started hosting these tournaments in our server. And that's how we became 2 of the biggest hosts in the server. And that's what also brings our community together. So it's very exciting.
We love to hear it. We really love to hear it. And you even touched on that actually, TwoFaced. It was actually astonishing to us. I think you guys actually broke our site at some point because of how many players just flooded the site and wanted to register to compete for our tournaments. And I think that was even before we had the tournament that we have running now, which is the Astro Gaming series. It's phenomenal how many players there are for Free Fire and how many want to compete. Our first qualifier for the Astro Gaming series was literally packed within the first hour, which is something I I can't believe, like, it's so mind-boggling that, you know, there's so many eager and motivated players in the Free Fire community. It really is something I really love to see. But you know, you actually also you mentioned it a bit, TwoFaced, that you used to stream to only 3 people, and over time it started growing. You now stream to over hundreds of people in your streams. When people watch your streams, you at least have a concurrent viewership of about 100 to 200 viewers per stream. That's a lot with compared to like local standards. But while you have all these hundreds of people competing and also watching them, you know, I just want to understand, you know, how did all of this come to be? Like, how did you bring these, like, this community together where you all congregate in this, you know, the sort of community where you're trying to grow with each other? And I think you also mentioned it was sort of help with the addition of a server locally.
Yeah, definitely. So I think like by once the everyone started watching the streams within the SSA, like a lot of the players would reach out to us mainly with Discord. Discord is the biggest communication when it comes to my streams. Like, you can always get hold of me in Discord. So a lot of the players would come through to me like individually, asking about tournaments. Some of them have my WhatsApp number. I don't like them having the WhatsApp number, but yeah, some of them do. But the way we get them together, Snow does it as well. What we do is once we have, what saves us actually is a site called Tournify. So we would send them a link that registers them. They add their WhatsApp number there. We add them to separate groups and so on. So that's how we keep in touch with them through those WhatsApp groups once they are in the tournament and so on. But mainly Discord is the number one go-to place. That is where all our updates go. Whatever tournaments come through, it goes straight through to Discord first. So that's where they normally reach, and that's how we get them involved.
Interesting. And did you guys really find challenges with that? Because I mean, one thing to point out, right, is I'll actually ask you this a bit later on, but esports is mainly on Twitter, right? That's where you will predominantly find the entire esports scene locally, where you'll find everything going on, all the different organizations and all that, you know. But did you guys really find it difficult with, you know, the means of communication of how to get people in tournaments or how to communicate with players, or was it actually relatively easy with how you guys did it?
Yeah, so to us it's very easy because most of the players in our server doesn't really use Twitter. So it's YouTube, WhatsApp, Instagram. Instagram is a main source of communication because most of the people in Free Fire use Instagram. So it's very easy for us.
Yeah. And just to touch on what Snow said there quickly, Skara, is the when she said like a lot of them don't use Twitter, Twitch, or whatever the case may be as well. I know most of the esports are there, but I think the difference in why they don't really have Twitch, remember these players are, I would say 90% of them don't have gaming PCs. They, you know, things like what you would get from other type of PC gaming and so on. So, and the reason why I think it also grew this big and why we can get them easily is because of it's a mobile game. It's available to, I would say, 90% of Africa that have a mobile phone, and it's 2 gigs of RAM that you need to run the game, and it's an amazing game. So that's what makes it easy for us as well.
Yeah, I think definitely, I mean, with just the ease of access and how, you know, it's easier to, it's like a barrier that's not that hard to overcome. And there's something called, I think, you know, it's like a barrier of entry, right? What is needed for you to enter into the scene to start competing, and as you mentioned, you just need a device that at least has 2 gigs of RAM, which at least most modern phones at least be running on 4 or 8 gigs of RAM. And with that, I mean, you already set yourself up to be able to compete in this tournament, which I think is really, really good. And I think it just adds to what you're saying. It's just much easier for people to get involved because it's not that hard to, you know, bridge the gap or just make that entry into the scene, because you don't really need that high-end PC or an expensive console, you know, to take part in this scene. And you know, that's what I really love to see, and I think that's really why there's so many numbers in this in the Free Fire scene. But you know, moving on, what were your thoughts, you know, when you found out about a massive brand like Astro Gaming being a gaming organization that's, you know, from, I believe, overseas? What were your thoughts when you found out they invested 15,000 Rand into a Free Fire series?
So I was really excited to hear about the grand prize, because we're always looking for opportunities any way we can get it to bring our server on the map so more people can know about us. So the prize was really big, and most of the people in our server were really appreciative of it, because we have a lot of small children in our server, so that amount is really big to us.
Yeah. I mean, I know, you know, carry on.
Same with me as well. When I heard that Astro's bumping in, you know, 15k into the tournament for Free Fire, I was surprised. And obviously, with regards to Free Fire community, I was thinking to myself, it's about time, you know. We've been doing this for long. I think we've been doing it for like a year, 2 years almost before we had our first sponsor in Free Fire. So I was surprised though from Astro Gaming, and I did a bit of research on them as well when I saw this, and I looked at their brand and looked at the Free Fire. I was like, okay, it makes sense. But hopefully more to come. It just gets bigger from here. The community can offer so much more as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Definitely. And I mean, you said it's about time that, you know, you guys saw the fruits of your labor just, you know, being presented in front of you, because you have put in that effort. And I mean, 2 years, that's a while for you to be working on a scene like this and to build what you guys have built, you know. I mean, it should be such a sweet feeling to see a brand like Astro Gaming getting involved into this tournament and bringing something like this to the Free Fire scene. And for me to see this happen and to see, you know, how appreciative you guys are and how cooperative everyone has really hasn't been short of, you know, a sweet moment to really bask in, because it's really cool to see a fresh new community of people that are really, really eager to take any opportunity that comes their way. And that's exactly what I've seen with Free Fire, is that, I mean, yeah, when we look at 15,000, that's a lot of money. It really is a lot of money. But even with that, we still have so many guys that are like, you know what, we want to compete in this. We want to take part any way we can support, whether it be, you know, signing up to the tournament or, you know, popping into the stream. You know, we've seen a lot of that happen. And I think this is really why Astro Gaming has done what they've done. And I mean, if this continues, we might be seeing more of this to come, and I'd really love to see more of that happen. Definitely, and I think you guys would too.
Most definitely. Yeah,
awesome stuff.
And you know, the players deserve it. I mean, there's players in here that is so professional. They study, they analyze the game. You know, our actual tournament players do. There is so much of them that want to play on that big scale, and I mean, this is the least we can do as influencers.
Yeah, most definitely. And I mean, if there's a dream, if there's a vision, I mean, there's a saying that if there's a will, there's a way, right? And I feel like there's a will definitely for the Free Fire scene to try and get to bigger heights. And I mean, you guys are offering that way to them. You guys have been bridging the gap between brands. You've been reaching out to brands like Garena and now to ACGL, and this is what has come out of all of that. And I mean, with more days, more months, more years to pass on, with more people getting involved, I think it's just, you know, a bound for things to just keep growing further and further as time goes on, right? But I'm gonna, you know, just close it off with one more question, and you know, this is gonna be directed to both of you, right? So what are your predictions for next week's finals? We've had our semi-finals run this past Saturday, but I want to know from your guys' side, who do you think will become the first ever Astro Free Fire Series champions?
You want me to go first now?
Yeah, you can go.
Okay. Based on the experience, look, I know most of these teams that's played in this tournament. Countless tournaments we hosted. I would like to say the team that you know, which is my team that's playing there, but I definitely think it's going to go to OPW.
Okay.
They'll get a battle though. They'll get a huge battle. They're not going to get it easy, but I do think they are very big favorites to take it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Snow.
Yeah, it's very hard to say, but I think there's 4 people that will definitely try to compete for that. So I see OPO, Gunsmokers, Ghost Army, and Silence Esports. They really surprised me in the semi-finals, so
Yeah.
I would like to see what they're gonna do in the final.
Interesting take. We'd love to see what does come out from it. But ladies and gentlemen, that has been the ACGL breakdown, and I'm pretty sure we're all excited for that first grand final for next week. So ladies and gentlemen, make sure you tune in to youtube.com/African Gaming to make sure you catch that grand final and don't miss out on the action. And remember, if you'd like to also compete in our tournaments for Free Fire, make sure you head on over to acgl.coza/T so you can get yourself registered for our tournaments. But that has been our time for today, guys. Any last words from you two?
Thank you, Brudas. That's all.
Yeah, thank you to the community for supporting us all the time. So, yeah.
I mean, nothing more we can say. But ladies and gentlemen,
It's a pleasure being here on this with you. Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah.
honestly, thank you for your time. Thank you for popping in. It's been such a pleasure having a chat with you guys, and can't wait to see what more comes from you guys. But ladies and gentlemen, that has been the ACGL breakdown. Take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.